Tripe is one of those ingredients that people either love or want absolutely nothing to do with. It takes time to cook. When raw, it can have a strong smell, and not everyone is a fan of its more interesting texture. If you've never worked with it before, all of that can make it feel a little intimidating. I used to feel that exact same way, but once you understand how to handle it properly, it becomes something incredible, tender, rich, and deeply satisfying like nothing else. Today I'm making Jamaican curry tripe and beans, and I'm going to show you how to cut down that cooking time and turn one of the most misunderstood cuts into something seriously delicious. Let's get into it. For today's dish, I'm using cow tripe, although for a classic Jamaican tripe and beans, goat tripe is also popular. That's about 2.5 pounds. I got this in the supermarket and it was already clean and roughly cut. Ruminants like cows and goats have a stomach with 4 compartments, each having a different texture. I find this part interesting because we get some really interesting textures and patterns with tripe. Even when cleaned, tripe will still have a slight gamey, funky aroma. Don't be alarmed though, by the time we are done with this, that will be totally gone. Even though this was already clean, I'm still going to wash it a second time with a vinegar solution. Lime and lemons also work here. It cuts through a lot of those aroma and gives it a cleaner taste and smell. Once that's done, I'm going to cut these into bite-sized pieces. Cooking will shrink them down a bit, but not by much. I did mention tripe taking a long time to cook, and the solution for that is a pressure cooker. Place the tripe into the pot. And to start building flavors, I'm adding half a tablespoon whole pimento berries, a whole scotch bonnet pepper, a few cloves of garlic, a light sprinkle of salt. Then we will submerge that with water. Next, we will pressure this on high until it's fork tender. With a pressure cooker, this step will take around 30 to 35 minutes, but if I was to cook this unpressurized, it could take anywhere from 90 minutes to 2.5 hours. Yup, this dish requires time, but you could also do this in a slow cooker. Set it and forget it for a few hours and then come back to tender meat. Once our tripe is cooked tender, I'm going to strain off the cooking liquid and reserve it for later. That now has a mild beefy flavor with just a hint of gaminess. And that's the thing. The closer we get to the finished dish, the cleaner the taste and smell. Now, with the tripe ready, we can start building those flavors. In my pan on medium heat, I'm going with a splash of olive oil. Once that's hot, I'm going to add a tablespoon each of chopped garlic and grated ginger. That's 1 teaspoon of ground pimento or allspice. That adds a lot of depth to the dish. I'm going to saute that for a minute until it's fragrant and I'm getting that beautiful aroma. Next, I have a tablespoon and a half of Jamaican curry powder. I'm going to let that bloom in the oil to develop its flavor. It needs only about a minute to get really fragrant. It's important that we save the wetter aromatics until after we add the curry because we want it to bloom properly. Now we can go in with 1 sliced onion, 2 stalks of chopped scallion, and 2 diced plum tomatoes. That's going to add a little bit of acidity and give our sauce some body. You want to saute that off until everything is limp and just starting to brown. You will know it's ready when those raw aromatic flavors start to become more fragrant. That smells incredible. At this point, we can go in with our cooked tripe. Give that a little saute so it starts to absorb all of those flavors. Nice. I think now is a great time to talk about the beans in this tripe and beans recipe. For this recipe, I'm using broad beans. These are popular canned, but I bought these dried. Soak them in water overnight and boil them until tender. These have a sweet, creamy, buttery texture that really soaks up flavor. Broad beans are common, but it's tripe and beans, so feel free to use whatever beans you like. I'm also using what's commonly called sugar beans in Jamaica. I got these fresh and green at the farmer's market. And they are also very sweet and creamy with a slight earthiness. I'm going to be using a cup of them. At this point, these are the only things that are not partially cooked, but they are green, so it won't take very long. Next, I have a tablespoon of all-purpose seasoning. That's just to give our dish an extra boost. I'm also going in with a bit of freshly ground black pepper. That smells bomb and it's coming together really well. Next, I'm going to deglaze that pan with a can or a cup and a half of coconut milk. That's going to add that rich, sweet, nutty coconut flavor in the background. For the rest of the liquid, I'm going to use some of our Tripe cooking water to submerge this. Everything is cooked already, so we don't need to overdo the liquids. We just want enough to make a nice, luscious gravy. I'm just going to let that simmer until the sugar beans are cooked. That shouldn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes. Great, those sugar beans are almost there, so we can now go in with a cup of those broad beans we cooked earlier. As a side note, I could have used a lot more broad beans in this recipe. It was a bit light on the beans and another cup wouldn't hurt one bit. We are close to the end, so let's re-season this. I'm adding a whole scotchy because I want all of that scotchy flavor without too much heat. But I also want the heat, so I'm adding half of a pepper slice. The real treat with fresh scotchy is the incredible volatile aromas it adds to food. I'm also adding half of an onion, fresh thyme, because of course dried thyme is a scam. And that's a reminder to check out the merch store for some goodies. Half of a bell pepper sliced, and a pinch of salt if it needs it. This does. Give it another taste to see if anything needs adjusting. Great. All that's left now is to let this simmer for a few minutes to infuse those new flavors and reduce and concentrate that gravy. Yes, man. See that film forming on top? That's how you know your tripe and beans is ready. That gravy has reduced beautifully. Everything is perfectly tender and the tripe soaked up every bit of that curry. That is it. What started out as something most would overlook has completely transformed into something clean, rich, tender and packed with flavor. With the right technique and a little patience, any cut can become something special. Now, this is great with rice and peas, dumplings or some boiled food. All classic pairings for curry tripe and beans. But for me, some fragrant steamed white rice is a perfect and most common pairing, so that's what I'm having it with. Every single bite is super satisfying. That tripe is now transformed with a clean beefy taste. That's probably the biggest surprise most people will have. That's great, but my favorite part of tripe and beans are actually the beans. I'm Nick, and this has been delicious. Enough love to our patrons who keep the kitchen cooking. Thanks for watching, bless up, and I'll catch you in the next one.